Yo, what is going on, guys? This is Mr. B, and today is a great day for me. The Celtics beat the Heat last night. Of course, if you guys do not know, I am a huge Celtics fan. I just got my lift in, got a game tonight, and I am, it's just a great day. I'm excited. I'm excited to talk about the game last night. So let's get to it. But first off, this is Golden State Clippers. This is just a team-up game that I recorded. You'll see a bunch of LobCity through these highlights, and it was a fun game. So I really want to talk about the Celtics Heat game because there is so much that I saw and so much to talk about. First off, we got to talk about Chris Bosh. Chris Bosh coming off that injury, the ab strain, and while he was on the court, they were outscored by 12. They had 21% field goal percentage. They were out-rebounded, had more turnovers. Bosh had 9 points, 3 of 7 field goal, and he had 14 minutes in the first half, and I think he played about 2 minutes 38 seconds in the second half. And you look at those numbers and you think, wow, the Heat really did bad with Bosh on the court. Bosh wasn't even the one creating the problems. Chris Bosh was 3 of 7, and with 21% field goal percentage, I believe is 5 of 23. And if you take away his 3 of 7, what do you have? 2 of 16. I don't think that's his fault. I'm pretty sure you cannot say that Chris Bosh came in the game, that automatically makes Mario Chalmers, or that automatically makes James Jones, or that automatically makes Mike Miller a worse player. No. That's just the luck of the draw at the fact that while Chris Bosh was in, those other guys were doing bad. And so, the idea of Coach Spoelstra, why was he thinking? He didn't think it was fair to play Chris Bosh in the last quarter. How? Chris Bosh wants to play. I can guarantee you. He has so much adrenaline. He just came off this injury. He comes in the game the whole first half, and then you bring him for 2 minutes 38 seconds in the second half. What is he thinking? He is probably thinking in his head, why is Coach not playing me? If I was Chris Bosh, I would have gotten Coach Spo's face and told him, put me in. It's crazy. I think you need to keep Bosh on the court. He's the best Heat big man. He's part of the big three. He can guard Kevin Garnett. Everyone else who guards Kevin Garnett, they have to get in front of him. And then you just have to pray, oh gosh, hope that lob doesn't come. And if it does, I hope I got some help. And if I get help, I hope they don't kick it out to the three. And if they do, I hope they don't make it. That's too much to worry about. If you have Chris Bosh, he can play behind him. They can get that pass into Kevin Garnett, and then Bosh can just guard him. Bosh is one of the only players on that team who can guard that step-back J. Of course, it's very unguardable, but he can at least get in his face and make him work for it. And whenever you run the pick and roll with Chris Bosh, he can pick and pop. He can pick and go to the basket. If you run the pick and roll with Joel Anthony, people like Kevin Garnett are automatically going to know, well, Joel Anthony doesn't have a jumper. The only thing I have to worry about is him going to the basket. And then if you work with a guy, if it's Udonis Haslem working the pick and roll, oh, that's Udonis Haslem. He doesn't drive to the basket. All I have to worry about is him stepping out for a jumper. It gives a more triple threat to the team if you have Chris Bosh in on that place, because he can either drive, he can shoot, and he can pass. He's a good passing big man. Another big factor in this game, you have to talk about LeBron James, and of course, everyone's been talking about it all day. LeBron James, well, first I'll go through the overall stats. 30 points, 8 rebounds, 44% field goal percentage. That is an amazing game. Now, the final 8 minutes of the game, 2 points. He barely took a shot. I don't understand why he does this. For instance, there was a minute in fourth quarter. Keon Dooling goes to close out LeBron. LeBron has a wide open paint. He could have easily drove past little weak Keon Dooling and slammed it home. But he got scared and he passed to Norris Cole, who then turned the ball over. When you're averaging 30 points, 30.1 points per game, rather, in the playoffs, you should be taking shots. You should be driving to the basket. And might I add that the only 2 points that he had was an uncontested layup. So, I don't understand why he's passing to these guys. And, you can't go and be like, oh, well, Dwayne Wade, he's a closer. Why aren't we putting the blame on Dwayne Wade? Well, that's because Dwayne Wade did close. 14 points in the fourth quarter. When LeBron didn't want to step up, Dwayne Wade did. And when LeBron didn't want to step up, he passed to someone else, and that meant that someone else was not Dwayne Wade. And they turned the ball over or had a bad shot. And that hurts. You know, that really hurts. Fourth quarter, close game like that, and now you're down 3-2 in the series. So, you know, I hate to bring this up, but you know, I have a feeling, you know, the Heat are not going to make it out of the conference finals. And regardless of whether they make it out of the conference finals, if they go to the finals, either the Heat or the Celtics, I'm pretty sure the West has it locked up. If the Thunder go to the finals, if the Spurs somehow go to the finals, either one will defeat either two of the Eastern Conference teams. They're just too good. And if, you know, if they're not getting anywhere, if they don't win the finals, what are they going to do? I mean, you have to imagine they have to get a trade. Alright, so let's look at our roster. Well, we got a bunch of role players. Mike Miller, James Jones, Mario Chalmers. I feel like those aren't guys that you want to take out of your team because they are actually filling the role player position. So now you got to look at your big three. Alright, well, you have Chris Bosh. So let's just say you trade Chris Bosh. You could probably get, what, 2 good role players or something for Chris Bosh. You're not going to get anything better than that, you know. Chris Bosh is not going to be traded for a perennial power forward who can make up for the, you know, less production that he creates, obviously. They're not going to trade a draft pick because their draft picks are going to be so good that no one's going to want their draft pick for Chris Bosh, a draft pick, and a good player. So you're going to have to look at, you know, probably 2 role players. So if you put those 2 role players on, are you really making up for the less production that Chris Bosh is going to do on the court? You know, like I said with Chris Bosh, he's a big man who can pass, he can shoot, he can drive. So that doesn't look like it's going to be the case for them. Okay, so now what are you supposed to do? You got LeBron and Dwayne Wade. Well, LeBron's putting up between 30 and 40 points every night. Dwayne Wade has been the face of your franchise for the last 8 years. Are you really going to get rid of him? To me, I feel like the Heat are just in between a wall and a hard spot. A rock and a hard spot. Why did I say wall? I don't know. But, so what are they going to do, you know? That's something to think about, definitely. Another thing to think about, Coach Erik Spoelstra, who is by far the worst coach in all of the NBA. I don't care what anyone says. He's, you know, there's no urgency. He's outcoached by Doc every game, whether they win or lose. Because, you know who's coaching that team? LeBron James and Dwayne Wade are. Dwayne Wade and LeBron James are making the calls on that team. You know, he needs to go, regardless of whether they even sweep the finals. I don't care if they even do that. Coach Erik Spoelstra needs to go. How do you let a man who was a video coordinator for your team just kind of glide right up to the ranks, boom, head coach? So he's a video coordinator. Does he really know that much about the game of basketball? That someone who, let's see, someone who like Mike D'Antoni, Phil Jackson, Jerry Sloan, Jeff Van Gundy, who all 4 happen to be great coaches who could possibly be coming back to another coaching position. And if you take a coach like Mike D'Antoni, Phil Jackson, Jerry Sloan, or Jeff Van Gundy, and you put him with stars like that, they can actually make plays for them, know what they are supposed to do. You know, maybe LeBron will come out of his little nest, show up in the fourth quarter, and, you know, maybe they can win some. Because right now they are not winning. This is not a winning team. They lost 3 straight. I feel like, you know, someone's got to do something here. All I know is this offseason is going to bring the downfall to someone on that team. So, you know, tough position for the Heat. Hearts out to the actual Heat fans, you know, not the ones who just decided to become Heat fans because LeBron James came to Miami. You know, I'm happy with what the Celtics are doing, though. You know, the big Cinderella story right now, definitely. Who would have guessed they'd even have a chance at the finals, and that's what they're looking like they're about to go into. Another thing I want to say is, when Rondo, Ray Allen, and Paul Pierce go 11 of 43, you out-rebound them by 10. You have more points in the paint, more second-chance points, and you still lose. And you still lose the game. So what's it going to be like whenever you have Dwayne Wade and LeBron James putting up crazy numbers, in Boston, and Paul Pierce, Ray Allen, and Rondo are actually on. That's scary. You know, it's not looking good for Miami. Spurs Thunder game tonight, going to be a fun one, and I feel like the Thunder are going to close it out in Game 6. The Spurs have kind of broken down. Their role players have kind of faded away. One thing I think the Spurs can do is get DeJuan Blair into the game. They've been playing Thiago Splitter. Thiago Splitter cannot... I'm sorry. DeJuan Blair should be a starter. Thiago Splitter shouldn't even play. The guy airballs free throws. Put DeJuan Blair in the game, and you could probably win. At least a better chance. So that's about what I have for this commentary. Thank you for watching. This is actually my first actual commentary and analysis on a game. So hopefully I can learn from this one, see what I've done wrong, see what I did right, some stuff I like. And, you know, you probably see some more of these. This is actually one of the first basketball games I actually took pretty close record of everything that was happening. You know, field goals, all these numbers. I was writing them down on this huge piece of paper. You know, I had a lot of stuff. So, thank you for watching. Rate, comment, subscribe.
Second shot opportunity, and Jordan with the nice inside bucket. Here's Jefferson.
There isn't anybody in the building that didn't appreciate. How about the energy he puts into crashing the boards, guys?
So the Clippers with the win. It was